It is opening day around Major League Baseball, and for the Texas Rangers and Miami Marlins, it is a big day around those two teams. On today's episode, we're going to recap the offseason of the Marlins and Rangers, my predictions and expectations for both of them, and preview the two opening day games with the Marlins taking on the Pirates and the world champs taking on the Cubs. Get ready because an all-new 305 Rangers starts now. Baseball is America's pastime, but in Miami, Florida, and Arlington, Texas, it means that much more. This is the post-game reaction podcast to the Miami Marlins and the Texas Rangers. This is 305 Rangers. Hello, Marlins and Rangers fans everywhere. Happy opening day and welcome to the first edition of 305 Rangers for the 2024 Major League Baseball season. This is your post-game reaction podcast to the Miami Marlins and your World Series champion Texas Rangers. I will never get tired of saying that after last season, and if some of you are sick of me saying that, you better get used to it because it is going to be so much fun covering the Miami Marlins and the Texas Rangers this season. I am your host, Scarlett Weisberg, a Texas Rangers and Miami Marlins baseball fan, and just a Major League Baseball fan in general. I will be your host of 305 Rangers for the 2024 baseball season, and I would like to thank each and every one of you so much for tuning in to the first show of 2024. You can find 305 Rangers, which is 100% completely free and available, on your favorite podcast app, whether it's Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all that good stuff. The show will be on there. The show can also be found on my YouTube channel, NJHawk40. If you are watching the first episode of 305 Rangers on YouTube, please do me a favor, hit the like button on the video if you are enjoying it on YouTube, hit subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so you know when the next time 305 Rangers goes live on YouTube, and leave a positive, nice comment down below. And by the way, if you know a Miami Marlins and or Texas Ranger fan that wants to find this podcast, please share it with your fellow Marlins and Rangers fans. I would really, truly appreciate you guys doing that. Give the show a follow on those platforms. If you could please turn on your notifications so you know about the next episode. Please rate, spread the word out to your friends, and give 305 Rangers a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you are listening to this on. It is an amazing way to support the podcast, and I truly appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in to the first episode of 305 Rangers for the 2024 season. Well, let's first talk about the champions, the Texas Rangers, who are coming off a World Series win, beating the Arizona Diamondbacks in 5 games. And as far as the offseason for the Texas Rangers, they didn't do a whole lot of upgrade. They got the majority of their roster back, with Nathaniel Lowe, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Adolis El Bambino Garcia, Leody Taveras, just to name a few people. By the way, we got Marcus Semien and Corey Seager locked up for a lot of years, so those guys are going to be crushing baseballs in Arlington for years to come. We lost some guys, though. I mean, we lost Austin Hedges, which doesn't really affect us whatsoever. We lost Martin Perez, who was a really good pitcher, especially coming out of the pen. I really thought last year that Martin Perez was a better pitcher from the bullpen rather than the starting rotation for the Texas Rangers. He is now with the Pittsburgh Pirates, as well as Aroldis Chapman. Now, some of you might know where I stand when it comes to Aroldis Chapman. Some of you might like him. Some of you might hate him. I personally do not like the guy. I mean, I like the person, Aroldis Chapman, but I don't like the way that he pitches. Okay? I felt last year Aroldis Chapman gave me and plenty of Texas Rangers fans out there that are listening to this show a lot of anxiety attacks, a lot of heart attacks every time that he pitches. Maybe that's why we got a better closer named Jose Leclerc, the new closer on this roster going forward. But Texas is going to have a few setbacks come opening day, ladies and gentlemen. Nathaniel Lowe, the original first baseman for the Texas Rangers, he will likely be out for tomorrow's opening day game against the Cubs. I'm recording this today on Wednesday, and maybe you might listen to this today, you might listen to this tomorrow, who knows? We got Kirby Yates from the Atlanta Braves who's going to upgrade the bullpen for the Texas Rangers in so many ways. I mean, last year the bullpen was absolutely atrocious. It was absolutely atrocious. I mean, it was the only bad thing from the Rangers last season that made me think this Ranger team might not be World Series champions. I mean, they got the best offense in all of baseball, if not one of the best offenses in all of baseball. We had really solid starting pitching, but the bullpen, kind of shaky. But yesterday, I was so mad, and I need to vent about this because I'm really, really pissed off. Jordan Montgomery, the guy who won us the World Series last year, the guy who took us over the top, despite having Max Scherzer, despite having Jacob deGrom, even though deGrom and Scherzer are going to be out till, I believe, midway through the season. So we're talking June, July, somewhere in that range for those two guys. But Jordan Montgomery, in a move that I honestly did not see coming. I did not see this thing coming. He went to the team that we beat in the World Series. Monty is now with Arizona. Now, personally, I did not expect Monty to sign with Arizona. I obviously, and everybody that's listening to this show right now, every single Texas Ranger fan that is listening to this right now, expected that Jordan Montgomery was going to re-sign to the Texas Rangers. Maybe on a one-year deal, but nevertheless, we all wanted Monty to be back in Texas. Nope. He threw us a curveball. A big-time curveball, because everybody expected that Monty was either going to re-sign with Texas, go back to St. Louis, or maybe go to the Boston Red Sox, because the Red Sox are dealing with a whole lot of injury issues, specifically with the season-ending injury of Lucas Giolito, one of their starting pitchers. This guy went to the Arizona Diamondbacks on a one-year, $25 million deal. Now, at the end of the day, I don't decide where the heck Monty goes, because at the end of the day, it's his business, and wherever he wants to play, he can play. And I totally get that. And Arizona, let me tell you something, they might be the sleepers in the West right now. They might be one of the sleepers in the National League West. They're not going to win the National League West division, because I obviously think the Los Angeles Dodgers are still going to be the cream of the crop of the NL West, and quite frankly, the National League for a reason, unless they choke in the playoffs, but that's beside the point. The point is, Jordan Montgomery has made the Arizona Diamondbacks pitching staff a lot better, particularly in the starting rotation. Does it hurt my heart that that he's now in Arizona? Yeah, damn right it does, because it's going to really make me upset watching Jordan Montgomery pitch against the Texas Rangers. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, and I cannot complain about it. The starting rotation for the Texas Rangers looks pretty solid. I mean, you got Nasty Nate, who's going to be the ace of the rotation. Big Bad John Gray, Dane Dunning, Cody Bradford, and there's one more guy. I don't remember who the one guy is. I mentioned Nate Eovaldi, I mentioned Big Bad John Gray, Dane Dunning, Cody Bradford, and shoot, there's one more guy in there. I don't know right off the top of my head. Maybe I might know when this episode drops. But nevertheless, pretty solid rotation for the Texas Rangers. I think offensively, the Rangers can repeat the same things that they did last year. I mean, you already know that they got the heavy hitters, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, El Bombino, Jonah Hyman, all that good stuff like that. Evan Carter, who's going to be a really big breakout star for them this season. And if you've watched spring training, I don't know if some of you watch spring training or all of you watch spring training. This Wyatt Langford kid, who is the number one prospect in all of baseball, he's moved up to the major leagues. He's likely going to be the designated hitter. This guy can mash the living hell out of the baseball. He has hit homer after homer after homer after homer. It surprised Arizona in the Rangers spring training, and all I can say is, damn, this guy is going to be something special. So, as far as my expectations for the Texas Rangers, I could see the Texas Rangers getting maybe 90 to 93 wins this season. I do think that they are going to win the AL West this year. I think the stupid stinking Houston Astros are going to be third. I think the Mariners are going to be second in the division. And then obviously you got the bottom of the barrel with the Angels and the Athletics. But I do think the Rangers are going to win the American League West. And I think they're going to repeat as World Series champions. I mean, there's not a reason to believe that the Rangers will not repeat as World Series champions, right? They got the majority of their guys back, and they got Bruce Bochy back, and it's going to be same team, same energy for Texas. I do think, though, that they're going to win the American League West. They're going to likely repeat as World Series champions, and it's going to be a big-time party deep in the heart of Texas. I love what the Rangers did in the offseason. It is going to be an awesome season for the Texas Rangers. But as for the Miami Marlins, you know what? Let me take a break, and we're going to talk about the Miami Marlins when we come back, because I got a lot to say about them. This is 305 Rangers. Welcome back to the first edition of 305 Rangers. Now, I want to address the elephant in the room. When am I going to post new episodes of 305 Rangers? Well, I know baseball is a daily 162 game grind. There is no way in hell that I am going to do 162 shows of covering the Texas Rangers and the Miami Marlins this season. Not going to do it. So here's what I'm going to do. After every series that the Texas Rangers and the Miami Marlins play, I'm going to come on here, give you a recap of the series, give you my best player of the series, maybe the worst player of the series, and preview the next matchups for our teams, the pitching matchups, all that good stuff. So it's going to be after every series for the most part. I might do an episode on Friday recapping the opening day game of the Marlins and the of the Marlins and the Rangers. That could be a very special episode the day after opening day, so I might do that. And then going forward during the regular season, I'm going to be doing after every series. Say if the Rangers play 3 and the Marlins play 4, I'm going to cover the Marlins one first because it's a 4-game series, and then I'll be doing the Rangers because of a 3-game series, and vice versa. Stick with me here. It is going to be a very fun season. But what's not fun is talking about the Miami Marlins, who are coming off a playoff appearance in a full 162 game regular season for the first time since 2003. And I gotta tell you, this is the most complacent franchise I've ever seen in my life. I mean, you talk about a drastic change, a new direction, a new management. I don't know what the hell you want to call it, but that's what the Miami Marlins are going through going into the 2024 season. Let me recap it for you. Let me put spill a little gospel on you, if you know what I'm saying. Kim Ang, the woman that led the Miami Marlins to the first playoff appearance in a full regular season in 20 years, was sacked, fired. She resigned from the Miami Marlins. Maybe she chose to resign from Miami. I don't know the whole story. I don't know the whole issue, but what I do know is I need to thank Kim Ang for the hell of a job that she did as a woman being an executive in Major League Baseball. That's pretty damn cool. That's pretty damn cool for me to see. The Marlins were so much fun last year. I mean, come the trade deadline, they made a really, really big splash, getting Jake Berger, getting Josh Bell, Luis Ariz, becoming the first man in baseball to win an American League and National League title. He is going to be really big for the Marlins this year. Chaz Chisholm Jr., a breakout superstar who's going through a lot of controversy, a whole lot of beef with Miguel Rojas right now, but that's another story for another day. He is going to be a big-time superstar for Miami. You got Jake Berger and Josh Bell, who are going to be the power carriers of the offense this year for the Miami Marlins. And the only signing that the Marlins did in the offseason was signing a shortstop by the name of Tim Anderson to a 1-year contract. I mean, what the hell are we doing here? Like, seriously, what the hell are we doing here? I thought coming off a playoff appearance, the Miami Marlins would actually look better, would actually look more improved in the second season under the reigning, defending, undisputed National League Manager of the Year, Skip Schumacher. Nope. They have become complacent. They've become complacent, and they're going through a full rebuild right now under new management. Peter Hendricks, the guy who established culture in Tampa Bay, who was a longtime executive of the Tampa Bay Rays, wants to bring that Tampa culture to Miami? I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing here, Marlins? Can somebody answer me that question? The old saying is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? The Miami Marlins had one good thing going. The Kim Ang era was going really strong. We're coming off a playoff appearance for the first time in 20 years in a full regular season. We done broke the whole damn thing in the offseason. The season barely even started, and I'm already declaring that the season of the Miami Marlins is already over. The season of the Miami Marlins is over before it even began. Now, the Marlins could prove me wrong this year. They could prove me wrong and improve their winning record, not by much, because, I don't know, last year they were, I believe, in third in the National League East, a wild card berth in the playoffs, probably the last team that snuck in to the wild card last season, somewhere around there. Last year, the last time that I checked, the Miami Marlins finished the 2023 regular season with a record of 84-78, third in the National League East and claiming the final National League wild card spot. Now, the Marlins could do that again. They could do that again. I mean, they still got Bell. They still got Arise. They still got Berger. They still got Chaz Chisholm Jr. But my main issue for the Miami Marlins is not only the lack of offense that I think is going to come back to bite them in the ass come the regular season, but the pitching's going to be taking a hit. I mean, you got Sandy Alcantara, who was the reigning defending NL Cy Young last year. He's done for the season. Yuri Perez, who was supposed to be a very young stud for Miami, he's going to be missing time due to an injury, elbow inflammation. Thank God he doesn't need any more surgery. But what are we doing here? Give me a break. If the Marlins finish third in the American League, or the National League, last year with a record of 84-78, my expectations for the Miami Marlins this year, I'm sorry, Skip Schumacher, but I gotta call it what it is. The Marlins are gonna finish fourth in the National League East. Fourth in the East and miss the playoffs. I mean, if you don't want to upgrade your roster, right? If you don't want to upgrade your roster, you simply just want to run it back, only sign Tim Anderson, and now you got Yuri Perez and Sandy Alcantara, among other pitchers who got hurt during spring training. The Marlins' complacency is going to come back to bite them. I hate to be real and I hate to be honest on the first episode of 305 Rangers, but I got to keep it real with you. The complacency of the Miami Marlins that showed during spring training is going to come back to bite them. I believe I believe the Atlanta Braves are better than the Miami Marlins. Clearly, the Philadelphia Phillies are better than Miami, and the New York Mets will jump Miami from fourth to third this year because I believe Carlos Mendoza is going to do an amazing job managing the New York Mets this year. But I'm sorry, Skip. I gotta tell you the truth. And for any Miami Marlins fan that is listening to this, I gotta tell you the truth. The Marlins were too complacent in the offseason. I believe they were scared to do anything after Peter Hendricks took over. And now the Marlins are just going to be in a complete rebuild. Honestly, we could see prospects called up to the Miami Marlins main roster quicker than at any point in the Marlins this season. I got them finishing fourth in the National League East. They could have a winning record. They could have a winning record or not. I don't know. But what I know is the Marlins will finish fourth in the National League East this season and miss the playoffs because they didn't want to upgrade during the offseason and they wanted to be complacent. And unfortunately, it's going to come back to bite them. When we come back, we're going to preview the two opening matchups for the Miami Marlins and the Texas Rangers as opening day fast approaches when 305 Rangers comes right back. Welcome back to 305 Rangers, everybody, and I completely forgot to mention just today, breaking news in the Miami Marlins front. The Yankees acquired veteran outfielder John Birdie for the Miami Marlins in a 3-team trade with the Tampa Bay Rays. The Marlins will receive 2 outfield prospects, John Cruz from the Yankees and Shane Sasaki from the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays will get catcher Ben Wardved from the Yankees, as DJ LeMahieu will start the season in the IL because of a bruised right foot. That's a really good call for the New York Yankees there. John Birdie didn't establish himself in the big leagues until his age 29 season in 2019. Since then, he has batted .258, .338, and .367 with 23 home runs, 91 stolen bases in 432 games for the Miami Marlins. He played second base, third base, and shortstop. Once LeMahieu returns, perhaps before the end of April, Birdie would fill the Yankees' offseason desire to be in a backup infield role. For the Miami Marlins, Sasaki was drafted in the third round in 2019 and hasn't played past the Class A levels. Cruz, 18, was signed out of the Dominican Republic and spent last season in rookie ball. That just, I don't know how to react to that. I seriously do not know how to react to that. I mean, this could be a good thing. This could be a bad thing. I don't know. Good for the Yankees, though. I mean, they desperately needed an outfielder, and they got that. But, my God, the Marlins just continue to go downhill thanks to this trade. But in any event, let's get into the previews as the Chicago Cubs will travel to Globe Life Field, taking on the reigning, defending, undisputed world champion Texas Rangers at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:35 p.m. Central Time. The game will be televised on ESPN. The probables for the pitching matchup. The Chicago Cubs will get Justin Steele, while big game Nathan Eovaldi will take the mound for the Texas Rangers. Last year, the Chicago Cubs finished with a record of 83-79, a 38-43 record on the road. The pitching staff had a collected 4.09 ERA while averaging 8 strikeouts per 9 innings last season. For the Rangers, they had a record of 90-72 with a 50-31 record at home. The pitching staff was averaged 8.5 strikeouts per 9 innings while giving up 4 runs per game in the 2023 season. This is going to be a very good pitching matchup. I expect that the champs will impose their will. They might get a little rusty, though, after a World Series hangover. However, I got the Texas Rangers winning on opening day against the Chicago Cubs and showing the world why that they are the reigning, defending, undisputed World Series champions. For my money, give me Wyatt Langford hitting his first career home run on opening day, or at least getting his first major league hit on opening day. As far as the scores, I bet you can expect Marcus Semien to do the scoring. Bombino can do the scoring. Corey Seager, I don't know if he's going to be active for opening day, but if he does play on opening day, I expect him to score. It's going to be a really good season for the reigning, defending, undisputed world champion Texas Rangers. And seeing that flag, seeing that banner at Globe Life Field, it's going to make me tear up. I mean, I got to be honest with you. It's going to make me tear up seeing that banner, because there's a certain somebody looking down at me from heaven that would probably be listening to this show if this podcast goes up there to heaven. And he is one of the biggest Texas Rangers fans that I know. And it would warm his heart seeing his beloved Texas Rangers raise that championship flag. It is going to be an emotional moment for me, but it's also going to be bittersweet at the same time. And a very happy bittersweet at that. As for Miami, they open their campaign against the Pittsburgh Pirates at 4:10 p.m. Eastern Time at Lone Depot Ballpark in Miami. Mitch Keller will take the hill for the Pittsburgh Pirates against Jesus Luzardo for the Miami Marlins. The Marlins had an 84-78 record overall. Last year, a 46-35 record at home. The Marlins averaged 8 hits per game last year while batting a collective .260. The Pirates had a 76-86 record overall, a 37-44 record on the road. The Pirates slugged a .392 slugging percentage on an OPS, on an on-base percentage of .315 as a team in the 2023 season. Originally, I had the Miami Marlins at least sweeping the Pittsburgh Pirates on opening day because it is a 4-game series. I think it's going to be a split. I think it's going to be a split of the series. I think the Marlins will win 2 and the Pirates will win 2, because I think as far as the pitching, it's going to come back to bite the Marlins, and the lack of offense that the Miami Marlins brought from last year compared to this year, I think the Pirates might have a little bit of advantage going into this series. That's why I have the Miami Marlins and the Pittsburgh Pirates at least splitting the first series of the 2024 season. As for the Cubs and the Rangers, give me a clean sweep of the Texas Rangers in a 3-game series. The Rangers will start 3-0, and the Miami Marlins will start at 2-2. That's my bold prediction for the first series of the 2024 season, I should say. And that will do it for the first edition of 305 Rangers in the 2024 season. You can find this show, which is free and available on your favorite podcast app, like Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, all that good stuff, as well as YouTube. Like this video if you are watching on YouTube. Hit subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you know when the next time 305 Rangers goes live. Leave a nice comment down below. Please rate. Spread the word out to your friends. Spread this show to any Miami Marlins or Texas Rangers fans that you might know and love. And give the show a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you are listening to this show on. I am your host, Skylar Weisberg. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time as we recap the Marlins and the Rangers opening day series right here at 305 Rangers.